children that I work with often have really basic beginning play skills, and sometimes that's even as basic as dumping items around the room. So what was happening was we would have a box of blocks or a box of train things, and they would run around and dump them. And we were like, we need some toys that they can really engage with. So we bought some toys with the grant money that encourage really basic play skills, like putting a ball down a ball maze, things like that. And it's been really nice to see the children engaging with them. And what's happened is once we get those really basic play skills down, we've been able to introduce a little bit more complex play skills. So now they're doing things like taking the baby dolls that we've gotten and feeding them with the baby bottles and things like that. And it's been really great to just see the development of their play skills when we have materials that meet their needs. So I have a child that began last spring, or maybe a little bit before, and he was kind of in that play skills where he was mostly just running away from you and wanting to get under things, and really, really difficult to engage. And one of the things that really helped, we bought some light up spinning toys, was that he would really respond to the light up spinning toys. And we were able to teach him the beginning of a communication system using toys that were motivating to him, as well as the play skills of how do I play with a toy. And it was really quick, it was very brief, it would just spin a few times, we'd stop it. If you'd request it again, we'd spin a few times. But just to watch him develop into being able to do a little bit of back and forth play was really great. In this classroom, I have children who are needing one-on-one support and are very introductory play skills. And then I also have a group of kids that come in that are working just on social emotional skills. And they kind of serve as peer models, but we also really support them in learning how to take turns and things like that. And having really motivating toys is really important for that, but we're able to encourage play together between these kids when we have toys. It's made a big difference for our classroom. We're able to have a lot more engagement, and kids don't need a whole lot of things to play with, but it helps to have a few that really kind of catch their attention and get them to engage.
We teach these speech classes here at HEC, like we call it, and it's kind of a range of kids who are working on different speech sounds, maybe a little bit of language kind of thrown in. The classes typically are one time a week for about an hour, and the kids come in and we usually do like art projects, circle times, and then just kind of working on those sounds they need to work on so other people can understand them.
So we wanted to build our repertoire of books in Spanish and English also. Like this little great one is in Spanish first and then in English, so it gives the teacher the opportunity to read both languages, and just diversify some of our materials. We realized the lens that we were using to create play scenarios or create lesson plans was our own lens and maybe not what the other children had experienced before. So it just gave us the ability to step back and think, what could we do to enhance this environment to make it accessible for more kids to feel like it's their things to play with too. I'm not a bilingual therapist. I know some Spanish, preschool Spanish, colors, animals, some commands, but that's not really enough to connect with a student. And so having a book like this, or having these two books and to have them side by side, so how do dinosaurs go to school in English, but then ¿Cómo van a la escuela los dinosaurios? And I don't say it probably as good as I could, but I have had kids in my class who speak both languages, and maybe English isn't their first language, but I read that book in Spanish, and even in my broken, not great accent Spanish, their eyes light up and it feels like they're talking to me now, and I get that. And it teaches me some vocabulary along the way too to use in different scenarios, different play schemas, and I feel like it's opened the kids up more when they feel more comfortable in the environment, thinking this sounds like something I might hear at my house or in my community.
My name is Brenda Hancock, and I have been working at the ESD since 2007, but I've been teaching special ed for 22 years now. I work for the early childhood program, and I am really, really lucky in that my role currently is just to do a parent program. Our main barrier was actually families having care for their children. So a lot of our families, their children have disabilities. Number one, it's hard for them to find people that they feel safe and that they feel like have the training and the strategies to take care of their children. And so that's really where me applying for the grant came through. So usually our sessions are at our early childhood centers. So depending upon how families are accessing services currently, they might already have come to the center, or it might also be their first time. So some of our families that are in early intervention, so our birth to 3, are typically just receiving services in the home, and sometimes they've never come to the center. So it's actually kind of a nice way for those families to see the school their child's maybe eventually going to come to. A lot of my families that come in, when they're coming to this class, it's the first time they've ever left their children, like with somebody else, especially somebody else that's not a family member. I've had several parents share some really cool feedback on evaluations, and so this is one mom that said, I can't share what I want to share on evaluation form, but could I write you a letter? So this is a little bit from her letter. She said, during the time I attended the workshop and the parent coaching sessions, I saw my son grow and change. He started pointing to specific things. I could hear his voice finally. I hear him saying new sounds almost daily. He is soon to master a few whole words: open, tree, mama, bubble. The parent coaching sessions were amazing. The staff were able to show me some direct strategies and point things out to me that I had missed, or noticed things to celebrate, and things to observe and work on. My son also started making eye contact. He listens to me when I call his name, if not at first, at least within a few times, and this is a change. He plays with others at school in a more engaged way. He shows interest in books more so now. He is very social when we're at the park. I'm going to use the services offered for as long as I'm able to with my son. This to me was a life changer. I work hard each day with my son, and I know that this is his time to shine. We will get there. Thank you for everything.